picking up from where we left off, I study, like I said, I'm a well-studied man. And in a lot of religions, the men are the forefront. Mm-hmm. Always the men in the forefront, men in the forefront. I'm a man, so I'm partial, I guess. Mm-hmm. Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, whatever, right? But one of my favorite characters in the Bible is Deborah. Mm-hmm. Deborah was the captain of Israel's elite, mm-hmm. took them to war, mm-hmm. led the people, and then when it was time to step down, she put a king in place. In today's society, I see a lot of people fighting to the point where the men are fighting the women and the women are fighting the men back. And sometimes the women aren't even fighting the men back, they're fighting each other to keep the men in power. And I find that as deceitful as white supremacy and racism. How do you look at that?
Explain that. You said the women are fighting each other
to keep the man in power instead of challenging the man that's in power that's doing it wrong. For instance,
Donald Trump.
Ta-da! The greatest president, one of the greatest presidents in American history. You don't believe it? You don't believe so?
Yeah, he's the greatest asshole. Go ahead.
But he's a great president.
Why? I hate politics. I hate getting into politics, but tell me why he's a great president. Because I know you're going to tell me.
In the history of America, there's only been 2 presidents that ever had the hate of the people behind them. Andrew Jackson, mm-hmm. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson's policies are the same as Donald Trump's. And the only thing that he could do to save his presidency is the Louisiana Purchase and the expansion of the American West.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the epitome of the American model. Either you do it yourself or I'm going to make you suffer. So because he's able to be himself and not pull back, he's the greatest president because instead of hiding his hatefulness, it's right in your face.
Yeah.
And what do people always say, especially people of color? I like the South more than the North because at least in the South they tell you they don't want you there, but in the North they're front act like they want you there and talk about you behind your back. Yeah. You playing your hand. I can see your cards. Right. He's one of the greatest presidents ever because I don't expect him to do anything for people of color. I don't expect him to do anything for women, mm-hmm. and I especially don't expect him to do anything unless you have money. And when Donald Trump came into power, what percentage of the women voted for him?
A large percentage.
Oh yes, they did.
A large
because
percentage.
For one, women don't want to see other women make it. Mm-hmm. They'd rather keep the status quo.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about.
A man has always been president. Why should that change?
Not only that. It's not that. It's a man should be president because a woman is not going to run me, for one. Mm-hmm. 2, the competition factor of how a woman feels with another woman. Women will fight at the drop of a dime off of a thought rather than a man. Because men will tell you straight up how we feel, but women harbor more. That's why as a man, when you mess up, y'all can pull stuff back from 4 years ago and we totally forget it. Like, how you remember? You know?
Right.
And that, even politically, is a charge that holds women back in politics in American society. Goes back to my point again. A woman will fight another woman and hold her back and see a man keep his place even if he's not right for his place. What do you think?
That hasn't been my case. Oh, I mean, when I've always worked in male-dominated jobs. Always. And I've always constantly had to prove myself and prove to them why I was supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. I can remember as early as I worked for this truck and warehouse company, Uncommon Carrier. And it was, majority male, 3 females in the whole. One was accounts receivable, I was a receptionist, one was accounts payable, and one was the manager. And everybody else was, was male-dominated job. Fast forward to work in the medical examiner's office in Essex County. Another male-dominated job. You know, they had a bet going when I initially started that job, how long I would last. They said I wouldn't even last a week. A week at that job. Now, I left 7 years in. And the only reason why I left was because a good friend of mine that I grew up with in elementary school was murdered. His mom wanted me to do the autopsy. And so it bothered me for a while. So I just took a break. And I've always been the type of person that when I take a break from something or, you know, decide to pause it or put it on the back burner, I always push forth something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a flight attendant. So because I've always wanted to be a flight attendant, I went out and filled the application out. They flew me out to Chicago. The interview went well. Came back. I was still working at the medical examiner's office. And I still wasn't feeling right after doing that autopsy. Called me again for another interview in Newark. Went for that interview. That went well. Called me for another interview. That went well. You got the job. You got to pass this training, and after this training, you off. Put in my letter of resignation. Packed up my stuff. Put everything in storage, and I moved to the West Coast. Lived in California. I knew absolutely I had a choice between California and Denver. I knew absolutely no one in either one of those states. I chose California. I've always wanted to live in California. I've always wanted, I wanted to know what the fascination was with the West Coast and, you know, what it was like. So I put all my stuff in storage and I moved to California and I was a flight attendant. And I did that because I wanted to do a lot of international traveling. And so it afforded me the opportunity to fly internationally. And so, you know, I feel like this. I always tell any young person, if you have the opportunity to go away, go. If you got an opportunity to travel abroad, to study abroad, go. Because guess what? Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey, Irvington, New Jersey, Montclair, New Jersey, it's going to be here when you get back. It's not going nowhere. When you get those opportunities, and those opportunities come far and few between, experience it. Say you've experienced it before you turn it down.
That's deep. Because in the Bible it says that a man should be well traveled. A man should go see the world because you are a world citizen. Mm-hmm. I've seen you on television. You did your thing modeling. But that's not your story. Yeah, shout out to Monique. She's going through her own thing. But that wasn't your story. That was just a stepping stone into your greatness.
Right.
Let's go back into greatness. How do you define it?
Greatness is what you see yourself as. Greatness is what you see yourself as. What it all goes back to your yourself, like being yourself. How do you perceive yourself? Not how society perceives you. How do you perceive yourself? I mean, I'm one that I like to speak positive affirmations. I speak positive. I listen to positive things every morning before I, start my day. I try to ingrain some type of positivity in my brain before I start my day. Whether it's, saying, thank you, God, for letting me see another day. Thank you for, keeping me in my right mind. Thank you for allowing my feet to hit the floor. You speaking positive affirmations. And when you speak those positive things, when you put that positive energy out into the world, you become greater. Because guess what? The next person that you affect is going to be greater because of your positive thought. And then the next person and the next person. I never post any, you will never see anything negative posted on my page. I do not, I don't partake in that
but
at all.
Challenge the norm.
I do.
Your post.
I do.
I remember one post that made me laugh uncontrollably. And the post said something along the lines of, if you just would have chose me, a man talking to you, and your rebuttal was, what made you think you had a chance? I said, wow. Isn't that a truth that most men don't understand? That we think we can appear, but even though you appear, the door's not always open to you.
Exactly.
So I ask you this, because what you talked about was the definition of love. Mm-hmm. And our community doesn't know what love is. That's why you always hear me say I don't believe in love. I don't. Because I don't believe in, it's not that I don't think love exists. Mm-hmm. I don't think the way love is defined in our society is love.
Love is different for every, I can't tell you what my definition of love is, because my definition of love may be different from your definition of love, and your definition of love, and your definition of love. Shout out to everybody watching. Hello. So I could never tell you, how do you define love? I just think that, that in the Bible it says love is patient, love is kind, love never boasts, love is never proud, love doesn't hurt. But shoot, all those things happen to me. Love is supposed to be patient, love is supposed to be kind. Love was proud before, love boasts before, love hurts.
Sis, you know what you just did, right? So here we go. You're defining agape love, which is love that is spiritual, right, above the norm. In today's society, people don't love themselves because people are not even patient with themselves. An entrepreneur wants to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Hello.
So listen, love is patient, love is kind, love is God's nature. See, love is divine. I wrote a song about that, no doubt. But that's agape love. Mm-hmm. The Bible also talks about love between a man and a woman as well.
Right.
And it says basically how every R&B song says, women love the little things. You know why women love flowers?
It is the little things.
You know why women love flowers? Because a man gave you a reflection of beauty to complement something that God already gave you. So since the earth was given unto you, he gave you something from God to tell you how much he loves you. See?
I like how you put that.
Well, it's the truth.
I like how you put that.
Here's another thing. Why do birds sing in the morning?
I have no idea.
Because whenever royalty awakens to the world, it is greeted by a song. When the king and queen walks into the court, the horns blare. Right. Attention, the king, the queen has arrived. So a song brings you into your day. So will the birds naturally sing to awaken you to your royalty during the day? Mm-hmm. It's kind of how they got the alarm clock. It's music and noise that wakes you up.
Right.
It's the song that begins your day.
Right.
Lastly, in the Bible it says that a man's love is not what God gives you, it's the respect and what you give God that you bestow amongst into your man. If you buy a man flowers, he'll look at you like you lost your damn mind. But if you feed his ego and give him loyalty,
he'll love
the
you
man will love you for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. Not giving good head or having sex. It's not that. That's a compliment. Because some women can't cook for shit.
Right.
But they'll sex the hell out of you. I mean, give or take. But the loyalty is what makes a man about to go somewhere like, nah, I want to do that because I hurt her feelings. She doesn't treat me like that.
Right.
And just like a lady would say, I love him because it's not that he gives me stuff, he protects me. Which means that he's fortifying her mind and her soul. We live in a world where happiness is dead and contentment reigns supreme. Because contentment is the mother of lust and the father of deceit.
Yeah.
So how do we love oneself and how do we love each other?
How do we love? You have to. I feel like you cannot love somebody else if you don't love yourself. But you can't possibly, because guess what? When you don't love yourself, you don't know how to treat somebody else. You don't know when you're being disrespected. You don't know what to accept, what to pull away from, what to cling to. That's all a part of loving who you are. Sometimes you can love a person so much to the point where you lose your self-love. And a lot of times, I will speak to this. Us as women, just women, we can fall in love with a man so deeply to the point where we'll forget about our own selves. We'll forget about doing for us. We'll forget about self-care. We'll forget about everything to please that man. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in wanting to please him that we don't take a step back to say, well, what is he doing for me? Well, how am I being pleased? Because it looks like it's one-sided. And that could go either way. That could go with a man or a woman. But I'm just speaking for me, because I'm a woman. So, I've been in relationships where I've given, I've overexerted myself. And one thing that I will say is that, if I ever get back into another relationship, I'm always gonna put me first. Because by putting me first, I can cater to you. By loving me first, I can love you. By treating myself to what I deserve, I can treat you to what you deserve. And it also needs to be reciprocated.